In this week's episode, we will be visiting with the illustrious Belgian artist Marc Cloet. Cloet is a sculptor, philosopher, and cementologist whose work is respected throughout Europe. There were as many as 150 people working in conjunction with Marc Cloet at any given time. He has insisted on creative input from everyone involved. Cloet comes to the Rio Grande Valley a philosopher as much as an artist, so it should be no surprise that his work falls into what is in the vernacular referred to as conceptual art. Welcome to Defining Art. I'm your host, Joseph Bravo. We're here today at the International Museum of Art and Science to debut the new exhibit, Sea Stone, a conceptual art installation created by Marc Cloet. Marc Cloet is one of Europe's leading sculptors, philosophers, cementologists, semioticists, who has for 25 years been producing sculpture in Belgium. He came to the Valley on a Fulbright scholarship in conjunction with the University of Texas at Pan American, and for the last year he has been working on creating this multimedia installation piece. This is a piece that is about the process of processes, or meta-process, and there have been over 150 people working in conjunction with Marc on this exhibit. There have been scholars, philosophers, sculptors, jewelers, printmakers, filmmakers, photographers. Just about every kind of craft that you can imagine has been brought to bear to create this multimedia installation. Marc, thank you for joining us here today. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the project Sea Stone and how you conceived it?
I was invited to come over here, and it was quite far away from home, so I didn't take anything with me. It would be not only a problem to bring it overseas, but also I wanted to be free, I wanted to be like in the possibility to create something new. So the moment that I arrived here, I tried to do it like a student in the university. I had to start it and I had to end it. I didn't have materials with me, all the work, nothing. So I had to work together with people to have the chance to find materials, to find possibilities to make my work. So I couldn't do it independent. It wouldn't be possible. So this was the start. So Fulbright was about mutual understanding. Fulbright is made as a major American program, like you said, to help scholars bringing information and try to make research on what is going on in their domain. And the final product of Fulbright has to be a sort of mutual understanding. So the best thing I could do was just working together, listening. The first thing I did was listening to people. And so I started my job. I came here with nothing. I was here without nothing because I had to come over from Belgium and I could take a lot of sculptures with me, So I decided to come with nothing and to start like students of the university. They come in the beginning of the year and they have to end their work at the end of the year. So I tried to search what was typical for the place here. And that moment I saw a lot of cotton. And I did go looking to have a support to work on. So I did make the choice to use cotton because it's a nice material. In Belgium, we use canvas. Canvas with linen, who is a totally other sort. So when I did go searching to buy cotton, all the cotton was from India. So then I started to search how things match here. And then I saw that there is something as cotton from America who goes over to Mexico. They make tissue for it and then they bring it back. So this was a quite interesting a meeting with what is going on here on the board. So I did make the choice for this material. And day by day, in the gallery of the museum, I started to make drawings. So I didn't make a real exhibition in the university, but I did make a sort of a work in progress. So every week of my stay, I did make a new drawing. So I was thinking about what? Because in Europe, I have, like for 25 years, a work who is constantly changing a little, but it is what it is. And I tried to search something new, so I was looking around and I found like a lot of stones. I did go to the Big Ben and I did take some stones. And then I started to make studies about the stone. I used different levels of research on how a stone is made and how a stone is related with the place here. So day by day, I did make new stones and the students could see how I did prepare them. So that's was something I did also in books. So in the exhibition you can see piles of books, hundreds of drawings just of a stone. So why making a drawing of a stone? Why would we make a copy of a stone? Because there are so much stones in reality, so why making it back, you know? In effect, we cannot remake a stone. We can say something about the stone, we can make a study about the stone, but we will never be able to make a new stone. Because a stone is a stone, and that's typical on a stone. So why making a copy? Here we have like a stone in plastic, a stone in gold, and a stone in silver. I had Donna Sweetskaart, who worked very hard on this part of the exhibition for weeks and weeks. He was really focused together with me on what the stone could be in gold. And so the only thing that I know about copying a stone is while you are drawing a stone, copying a stone, making a new reality of a stone, it changes your mind tremendously. And you look to the thing, the object, the subject of your study starts to be so much brighter and so much interesting that you become like a whole other human being after everything. So I think the same is possible for the people who come inside of the exhibition and who makes part of the exhibition by just looking at it. Because the reflection of what you see gives you a totally other perspective on the subject. The simple stone, you know? The simple stone that you can see on the street. You just you just pass it, you don't see it, and it's such a beautiful thing with such a lot of layers of information. So if we look to the exhibition, everything and the item of the stone starts from a house, a totally house. So what I try to do as artist is creating a sort of structure, a structure who don't breaks the house of what we're talking about, but who makes research on how things goes and moves. This is based on a drawing of Goeritz. Goeritz, who was an artist who lived for a long time in Mexico, and who made relationships between what we have in universe and what we have as structure for a human being to live. Structure who is a sort of a language, or a language who needs a sort of structure to understand things that have different meanings. So this structure, I try to put it like in relationship with each other. And if you look to the whole exhibition, so the whole exhibition has a sort of a structure. And this structure tries to say something about the things. So now, if you listen, Marc Ramirez is a professor at the university, and he's a musician, and he did work a whole year with me on those structures. And while he was working on those structures, he was busy creating a symphony, a piece of symphony music. And he did create like 3 parts, 2-3 parts of this whole symphonic piece of music, especially for this exhibition. And with his students, he did play it on the opening of this exhibition. And so this makes part of this exhibition. So you come inside of the exhibition, and the whole exhibition is like related with the music we hear. I like this.
You brought in sculptors and people to help you with bronze casting and aluminum casting and sheet metal fabrication and goldsmithing, and even people making digital 3-dimensional creations that would then be 3-dimensionally printed in plastic. This morning you were casting in chocolate as well. There's been almost no medium that hasn't come into your purview. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what it was like to try to work with so many different artists and artisans?
The first thing I'm a sculptor. Even if I make studies about language, even if I'm triggered by philosophy, and I did read a little bit about philosophy, at the first place I am a sculptor. So as sculptor you search the mediums you can use, you know, and at the same time you are like a catalysator to give possibly something back. So I just started quite simple, looking what was around. And how more and more I was here, how more I saw that there were so much possibilities here, so much people who knew their job, who knew what to do with things. So to be honest, I came here to learn people things, but I learned a lot.
Anybody who's been a teacher knows that to be a good teacher, you have to constantly be willing to learn from the very people that you're ostensibly here to teach. And you did that indeed. I know as you've worked with these various artists, you have solicited their creative input constantly. And sometimes making the project more difficult because you have a new artist with a new idea every 15 minutes, and get 100 aspects of this project going at once, and then somebody else will come up with yet another idea, and you'll start it. I mean, we've been working just like fools for the last couple of weeks trying to get this show up. And I know that when we had 100 things to do, there were still new ideas coming into play right up to the last 2 and 3 days. And so you are very much about listening.
Yes, yes, because all those ideas, they come from other people. And to be honest, to have an award as Sir Fulbrighter, it's like maybe not really honest, because you have a Fulbright, a Sir Fulbright, if you have like a research for years in your domain. And second thing who is important, you have to be a good teacher. So I don't know if I'm a good teacher, you know, but I'm interested in people. I'm interested in people, and I like to provoke people, and I like to listen to people. So there is no magic trick or something like that. What I made for this exhibition was just a coming together of possibilities. And this spot, this place, the place where we are, you know, is a place with a lot of space and a lot of possibilities and a lot of people who are very interesting in their domain. The most important thing is not my person in this whole exhibition, but I think the focus on all those people who give me advice, who help me in practical things, all those people who give me new ideas, and the fact that we could create together, because I think this is maybe the most important thing, that we started to work together and that we made the process of trying to understand each other, respect each other, and at the end becoming part of a process who wasn't not about us anymore, but about the project, you know.
You know, you say a couple of things that are intriguing. One, you point to the landscape, and discuss a little bit about how the idea of the vastness of a South Texas landscape and the whole Texas landscape sort of impacted your motif of using the stone.
Oh yes, yes. You know, if you come from Europe, you have on every corner like a museum, you know, and the streets are narrow, a lot of things to do, you know. If you come from there to Texas, then you start to know what a dimension is, or the differences between dimensions. So what nobody knows, and nobody should know this, is that I started to make drawings of landscapes. And I did make like for more than 300 drawings. Every time, if I had a chance to see something, and if I had the time to work, I just make a drawing of a landscape. So I did travel a little between, I did see a lot of Texas, and I have like 4 or 5 sketchbooks about the dimensions of Texas and the differences between all those places, this spot here. And what I learned is that there is space here, enormously space. And at a certain moment you start to confuse, you know, if you think that Belgium is big like Dallas is even bigger, I think. So, and Dallas is just a point on the map of Texas, you know. So then you start thinking, what are you, you know? What are you as dimension, as human body, in the dimension of a space who is bigger than you, you know? So I started to make drawings of architecture and things and landscapes, but then I focused on that point, that center point, who has dimensions, where you can make a reference between your body and the natural fact. Stone was a very nice example. A stone, you can keep it in your hands. Some stones you can keep in your hands, and then you can see the relationship between your hand and the measure of the stone. Now, if you see the measure of a stone, you can see the measure of a rock, of a mountain, just a little sand, how do you say, grain of sand, you know? All those things, in effect, they have the same form. They could have the same molecular structure in a way, but the dimension is another dimension. So what I did in practicing dimensions, I try to do this also in the way of how thinking philosophic on the relationship between me as body and the people around. So, and the whole process was a lot about the relationship between what is around you and what you are as person. Even the people, you know, the people who comes inside of the exhibition, they start to make part of the exhibition. They are like a part of what is going on there. Because you cannot see a sculpture without seeing yourself related with the thing. So it has to see also something with narrative, you know. Taking distance gives you the possibility to make abstraction. A lot of people are thinking about their own story. A lot of people are, the most of their world makes part of what they are in relationship with other things. Now that's quite interesting, but if you take distance and you see things in abstraction, then you start to see more than just the fact that you are a human being with, you know, your little problems and your days, your good days, your bad days. You start to see like a reality who is another reality, who makes it broader. And I think this learning process, it will not make your life easier if you look at life like an abstract, interesting thing, but it gives you the chance to try to understand things. So making abstraction gives you the chance to, and taking distance gives you the chance to make your life maybe stronger, richer. So I did work like with more than 10, 20 sculptors on those pieces. One of those people was Brian Whitworth, who is a well-known sculptor here. For more than a month he was working just from the morning early, 6 o'clock, just until night, 1 o'clock, something like that. It's unbelievable. I had like a whole equipe of people who wanted to help me. And so this makes it possible to make something like that. So I talk about scales. I talk about how things can be like little things in a landscape and then like bigger. So here you see how like a little piece can become a big piece. So imagine yourself, a child of 6 who comes in the exhibition, and they ask them, do you want to make with those blocks? If you want to make with those blocks an exhibition, just give me a composition. This would be easy for the boy. So imagine yourself that we ask for 3 people to come over and to change these blocks in another composition. If I was a boy of 6, I would never forget this for my whole life. But the thing is that the boy couldn't do it. The boy needs someone to help him to make this composition, even if it is very easy to do it with the little blocks. So the dimensions of the things, they have to see something with how we look to the total fact of working together. So if we work together, we can change the scale of things. I think for that we need a very important thing. And this important thing is mutual understanding. If we don't have understanding, then we have nothing. Just an extremistic self. So I think this is what my exhibition is about.
Defining Art is a production of KMBH TV. Support for Defining Art is provided by RGV and Beyond Magazine and viewers like you. What is art? That's a good question. On our new program, Defining Art, airing the second Sunday of each month at 6:30 p.m., we're going to try to answer that question by exposing you to art and artists here in the Valley, as well as the artists from all over the world. Defining Art, the name of the program and its mission. Airing the second Sunday of every month at 6:30 p.m. Defining Art on KMBH TV is supported by RGV and Beyond Magazine and viewers like you.